Yo, what up guys, today we're going to be looking at the Jayce masterclass. T1 Zeus absolutely broke LNG's spirit at the end of game 3 in the World's quarterfinals on Jayce. And he did that by his perfect QE usage. So we're going to be covering how he was able to land all of these QEs and what the micro interactions were for him to be able to do stuff like this consistently. So we're going to be starting off with this point right here, where he sits in Fog of War. We don't see him just yet, but he sits in Fog of War. We see Hung clearing the vision. He lands the QE, half HP onto Emilio. Absolutely insane, of course. So why was this such a good QE? Well, first of all, it's thrown out of Fog of War, which makes it really hard to dodge in general because the reaction time is just so unbelievably short. The second thing is that he uses it in an angle, right, where it's practically impossible for Emilio to dodge. It's really hard to walk up right there. It's really hard to walk down. Space is really, really crowded. And he throws it at the range where if Emilio doesn't like perfectly step right there when he sees the QE come, that's just not dodgeable. So this first QE, Fog of War, the angle, and the tethering, which led to him being able to land the QE. Next one, right here. He sits behind the ledge right here. Fog of War. He uses the Fog of War to land a beautiful QE onto the Sejuani. And one thing that we're going to be seeing right here in this vault is that his target selection is literally perfect. When we're playing Jayce and we are in a situation like this where our poke really starts to matter, we need to really understand which targets we want to be focusing with our QEs. Let me explain you guys the thought process of Zeus right here, and which is probably the best thought process that you can have in a situation like this. If we look at LNG's team comp, we see a composition that has very minimal amount of healing. The most amount of healing is on the Renekton with the Goredrinker, and it's onto the Aphelios with the Fleet, with most likely the Runes, the Dorans, and the Emilio healing and shielding, which is most likely going to go onto the Aphelios rather than Emilio healing himself. But this means that we leave Sejuani, we leave Orianna, and we leave Emilio with very limited amounts of healing. Which means that the poke that we land on any of these three characters will stick. And this is something that Zeus does consistently. He knows which targets to focus, he knows which targets to find, and he goes for it, and he does it consistently. So far, we used Fog of War twice, we tethered the abilities twice perfect, and we have 2 perfect targets as well. So T1 is now going to go into the base, they've got the Hextech Soul, they want to siege LNG. And yes, Zeus has some angles onto Gala right here, but he doesn't throw his QE onto the Gala, even though the range of it is actually kind of nice. Because he knows that if he throws it, Gala's just gonna, he's just gonna regenerate it with his lifesteal. But look at what he does right here. Beautiful QE, very fast of course, max range onto the Emilio. This guy is now forced to go base because another QE will literally kill him if he doesn't shield it. So Emilio is forced to go base. These guys are now going to siege top tower. What do we know about this position? If we can take a look, right, there's currently no vision for LNG. And Tarzan is all the way up here clearing this ward. That means that a QE from Zeus is just practically free. It's really hard to dodge, also from this range. He's clearing the ward, not much crazy movement going on. So we start poking the enemy jungler, which is the Sejuani, which is no way to heal back up. Next up, because we have this amount of CDR with 2 Hextech Dragons at this stage of the game, we can actually throw 2 Qs through 1 E. And that's actually what Zeus does here as well. He stands next to the acceleration gate, which he knows is going to run out. And because LNG has no vision right here, that allows him to let another Q onto Tarzan right here. Absolutely gorgeous Fog of War usage. And it's really hard for these guys already to play the team fight right now because of how low their basically only engages. Like it's so unbelievably hard to play for LNG right now. But we're going to continue right now. We have our E back up, we have our Q back up. What do we see? He now focuses Orianna. Orianna is a bit higher priority target than the Sejuani. And Orianna also has no healing. So what does he do? He shoots it onto Orianna. And let's take a look at the range at what he does this on. Perfect range, right? Also from this Fog of War position, right there. And even if Orianna tries to sidestep it, the blast will most likely connect onto her. Once again, we do that same trick with the acceleration gate. People don't expect it, right? It's really hard to expect to get thrown 2 Qs from 1 acceleration gate, and the scout is now forced to reset. So, next target, once again, going to be Tarzan. Look at the perfect tethering onto this QE. It's absolutely perfect. Hits him with their explosion radius. Tarzan now also forced to base. What's the next target? Renekton, Melio, most likely going to be Melio. So what it does right now, just before they back off right here, another beautiful QE onto Melio. Once again, tethered to perfection. And the pressure that this just has, it's unbelievable. It's practically impossible for LNG to play against this. Mainly because he landed every single one of his QEs, and look at the impact that you have in these kind of games when you do it like that. So main learnings from this VOD, right, was Fog of War usage. He used it whenever he could. Fog of War really allowed him to get a lot of these QEs without, especially the Sejuani, expecting them. Fog of War usage, tethering was practically perfect all the time, which makes it really hard to dodge the QE because the explosion radius is so big. And another thing is target selection was literally perfect as well. He didn't rush his QEs onto the Aphelios nor the Renekton, and he used it on the targets that didn't have any major healing in their kit. So target selection also allowed the poke to stick onto the enemies and made it really hard for them to play the game. And finally, just combining this together, right, allowed him to really have this impact in the game. Absolutely gorgeous positioning. He broke LNG with this one, and this led T1 to win the game, win the series, and is now on to the semi-finals. I hope you guys learned something from watching one of the best Jayces in the world do his trick on the Summoner's Rift. If you like the video, hit it with a thumbs up button. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And I'll see you guys real soon with some more content. Thank you for watching, boys.